Morning all. A bit chilly in the garage this morning. Hence the hat and the long sleeve jersey. Uber pretzel. How far is it, Matt? What effort are you doing? Is that like 60k? I could even ride some of it with you. Zone 2. Yeah. Yeah, it could be on the cards. Have you not done that route yet? Yeah, I've done it, but I don't mind doing it again. I mean, are you doing zone 2 uphill and downhill, or are you? Yeah, so I just got 2 hours planned for this morning. Easier week this week. Before I start building again for the next 3 weeks. Did about 16 hours last week. Plan to do about 10 or 11 this week. Got the gym this evening as well. Been doing the gym over lockdown, but not mega heavy weight. Nearly level 45 as well. Then I get the disc, which should help me a little bit in the team time trials. Well, I've got one of the discs, but not the 858 disc, just the 808 disc. starting to warm up a little bit now. Watching Phil race at the same time, cheering him on. Legs are feeling a little bit heavy actually. Don't worry, we're not going all the way up onto. Down to the aqueduct. Got a lightweight when we don't need it. In the big ring. If you guys have got any questions or anything, feel free to shoot them in the chat. I've had a fair few questions on my 5 years of training on Zwift recently, which I still need to get back to. It's my first day back at work yesterday as well, after the lockdown, so it was a little bit busier yesterday. Phil's back in his crunch point on the race again, although he's looking strong. In case anyone's wondering, it's cold in the garage this morning, hence why I'm wearing a lot of kit. Got 2 jerseys on and a hat. They'll probably shed as I warm up though. Heart rate's coming up a bit higher today. Had a few easier days recently, or not as much volume, should I say, rather than easier. Probably should have worn some gloves as well, to be honest. It's one of those cold days. Hiking story. Sweet spot. I used to do a lot of it. That used to be one of my sort of go-to sessions. I used to do 2 by 20 minutes at Sweet Spot, but not so much nowadays. So when I used to do a lot of Sweet Spot, I was probably only training maybe 8 hours a week. Whereas now I'm training more. Well, I did 16 hours last week, so it doesn't take up so much of my training. It's definitely good if you haven't got as much time to train. It's a good bang for your buck, hence why they call it Sweet Spot. It's also an intensity where it's not so hard that it's off-putting, but it's hard enough to elicit stimulus so that you develop from it. I'm trying to think of a word. It's enough stimulus where your body will elicit adaptations. There we go. So personally at the moment, no, I don't do a lot of Sweet Spot, but a few years ago I did. It also depends what time in your training cycle you are. So basically, if you haven't got a lot of time to train, I'd recommend doing it. It's a good bang for your buck. Good threshold work. Does help build your threshold, your FTP. Yeah, ask anything more detailed if you want. Kind of covered that question quite. What sort of training are you doing at the moment? Are you including Sweet Spot? Let me know if the mic's loud enough as well, or if the music's too loud. Morning, Phil. How you doing? You changed your profile picture? Just saying, I'm on an easier week this week. And the weather's pretty crap this morning, so hence why I'm only doing 2 hours on Zwift. How are you doing this morning, Phil? Profile picture's back again. For the first one you had a different profile picture. Alright, yeah. Power cadence work. So, to be honest, that's something I've not explored a lot of, cadence work. Something that I've never actually really done myself. What sort of power cadence stuff are you doing, Phil? Right, King Destroyer. There you go. 5, 6 hours a week. Yeah, no, that's good, King Destroyer. 2 20-minute with surges, that's particularly good as well. Surges allow you to sort of build a little bit of lactic acid within the effort, and it teaches your body to clear the lactic acid while still maintaining a high intensity, or higher intensity rather than just complete rest. So they're a good tool to use. Yeah, definitely if you're training 5 to 6 hours a week, sweet spot's a good session to include. Once or twice a week, depending on how many hours. I mean, it also depends, have you just started doing 5 or 6 hours, or are you used to doing that for a while? Because you don't want to hit every session very hard, because it also depends how much rest you get between each session. But generally, if you're training hard every session, you might not have recovered enough to hit the session hard enough, if you understand what I'm trying to say. But 5 to 6 hours you should be good. Ah, yes. I guess in a way I have done some cadence stuff in the past then. Sounds like a good session. I have done something similar a long time ago. Funny story, actually. I was training to be a team sprinter on the track. Definitely not what I'm built out for. And I was man 1 as well. So basically when I was at uni, I was riding for the uni track team, and the team wasn't very big, so I had to fill some gaps, and yeah, hit the gym hard. And I used to do very similar, starting in almost my biggest gear, dropping the RPM right down, and then when I was out on the road, and basically effectively practicing standing starts, and then spinning it right out. And I used to do those every 10 minutes. Is that a session that Ed has set you, Phil? Alright, interesting. Is that something you only tend to do on easier weeks, or do you incorporate cadence work in every week of training as well? RPM sprint. Blimey. Still sounds like a tougher session. Yes, no actually. Thank you. Alright. December and January. Slower. It's a good idea. I suppose having the lower TSS allows you to focus more on the strength, and then you're not so fatigued whilst working on the strength. Oh, blimey, yeah. 125 CTL, that's high, yeah. I'm certainly not that high at the moment. I think I'm sitting around in the 80s. A lot of my riding at the moment, though, I'm doing a fair bit of hours, but it is low intensity. Yeah, no, that will be interesting. Are you incorporating gym work into it as well then, Phil? Yeah, it sounds like you can absorb some decent volume if you're training well on 125 CTL. Yeah, I've been doing a bit of lifting over lockdown. It's probably similar to you, just with weights available to me, just at home. But I'll be going to the gym tonight. I suppose the good thing was starting lifting lighter. I've sort of eased myself into it as well a little bit. All right, so you originally did triathlon, did you? Use that further weight up. definitely not the year for it, Phil. A lot of people have found that with this year, I think. Oh yeah, yeah. It's the beauty of Zwift as well, isn't it? Right, a virtual triathlon. Oh wow, that's really good. Yeah, very good. 18-minute 5k, nice. 90k on Zwift, yeah. And a half marathon. Blimey. Yeah, I suppose you can't really do the Zwift. The swim might be a bit harder to do virtually. Certainly, and not a lot of people would be able to join in with that one. I guess that's why they did 2 runs. Well, there are a lot of people doing it, Phil. Oh, blimey. Good participation then. I assume you did the 5k outside, or was the 5k on the treadmill as well? Both runs on the treadmill. Alright. Do you find, like, a lot of people struggle to put out similar power on Zwift as they do on the road? Do you find the same on the treadmill? Is it harder to run faster on the treadmill? I don't know. Maybe a bit because of cooling or the surface. I suppose you don't have the interruptions like you would outside, unless it's a park run or something. Oh yeah, fair enough. I suppose it is, yeah. And there's no chance of, like, this time of year maybe slipping on leaves or a bit. You don't have the damp surface or anything like that. You just sort of focus and run. You don't have the other mental sort of distractions either. Hi Emma. How are you doing this morning? Right, Phil. Enjoy your meeting. Grateful for you being here. Nice to have a chat. See you in a while. How are you doing this morning, EMR? It's a bit chilly in the garage this morning, hence why I'm wearing a bit more kit. 3 days? No, potentially not. Obviously it depends with your schedule. If you're able to do them Monday, Wednesday, Friday, that's probably maybe verging on a little bit too much in close succession, but it depends sort of your riding ability as well, how long you've been riding, can you take on that sort of stimulus. Maybe, I mean, it like I said, it depends on how much time you have to train, but it might be better to say do intervals Tuesday, easier ride Wednesday, rest day, intervals, then Friday, easier day, Saturday, and then like let me think about it. So Monday, let's say Monday intervals, Tuesday easier day. Well, I'll tell you how I do it. So Monday's a rest day, Tuesday would be a hard interval day, then Wednesday would be like an easier ride, and then Thursday I normally do a big zone 2 ride, but you could do a rest day and then have an interval session on the Friday and then roll around again. You don't have to treat every week the same, so like you can run on 3-day cycles, you can run on 2-day cycles, but if you're doing like a hard session, then an easier one, and then a hard one, then an easier one, then a hard one, then an easier one, you might be taking on a bit too much in short succession, especially if you're doing it week after week after week. Maybe something like Monday, Wednesday, Saturday, so you've got 2 a bit closer, but then you've got 2 easier days before you then take on a harder day again. I mean, they do say 2 to 3 sessions a week, so 3 is okay, but at the moment I'm not doing that much, and it obviously depends on what time of year you're at. I understand I've rambled on a little bit there, but doesn't necessarily have to be zone 1 either. I need to cycling. You've done sport your whole life, okay, weightlifting. FTP of 228, nice. So yeah, you're obviously used to fatiguing your body and overloading it and then recovering and then all that jazz, so I would... No, I want structure. Yeah, okay, so how much of the basics do you know? Like, obviously you have all your training zones, and like zone 1 is usually, interrupt me, tell me if you know all this, but like zone 1's recovery, sort of, you still get a bit of stimulus from zone 1. Zone 2, endurance riding, you get some stimulus from that. Developing mitochondrial density, that sort of stuff. If you were to do longer rides, you'd target zone 2, and then zone 3, sort of a bit more than zone 2, but you don't get as much, well, you get more stimulus, but the ramp up in fatigue you get for zone 3 is far greater than the stimulus that you get, so zone 3 sort of builds more fatigue than necessary, so I wouldn't recommend doing lots of zone 3. And then zone 4 threshold, that would be your FTP, 5 VO2 max and 6 anaerobic capacity, depending on what zone models you follow. Hi Cadell. But yeah, EMR, there's lots of, have you heard of a guy called Dylan Johnson on YouTube? How you doing this morning, Cadell? Yeah, all good, thanks. Today's ride is just sort of a lower intensity, just an easier ride. I've got a easier week this week. Had a 16-hour week last week, so I've got an easier week, and then I'm going to continue to build the next few weeks. So just on here for a chat, any questions, that sort of thing. Yeah. A lot of people say like only do polarized if you're training lots of hours, but I don't agree with that. I think you should probably follow a polarized training approach no matter how many hours a week you do, because generally the less hours you do, I mean not in every case, but the less hours you do usually means you're probably newer to cycling, and as you get fitter you build up the hours, or as you get used to training or you get more into the sport you devote more time to it. But yeah, I definitely supplement what is a good 20 watt per kilo? 20 minute watt per kilo, do you mean, Cadell? You can do 20 hours a week, okay. Yeah, I wouldn't say jumping into 20 hours a week straight away would be the best idea, but doing an extra like hour or two here, just like what I'm doing, like high zone 1, low zone 2, can go a long way. And that's why a polarized model is a good method, because you're developing the mitochondria within the cell, you're developing the powerhouse cells, so that I think, so I'm going to go a little bit into terminology here, but your type 1 muscle fibers are the ones that you're training at low intensity. Now, your type 1 muscle fibers are the ones that are able to clear lactate, and the type 2 muscle fibers are the ones that you use at higher intensity. But if you don't develop your type 1 when you're riding at higher intensity using your type 2, so at threshold, your type 1 aren't as well developed to clear all that lactate that you're producing. It's sort of a bit of my understanding about it. What is a good 20 minute watt per kilo? In the summer, my 20 minute watt per kilo was 6.1. Probably about 5.9 or 6 at the moment. I mean, a good watt per kilo is for 20 minutes can be 4 or 5. I mean, there's a lot. It depends how you look at it. It depends on your experience as well. Like beginners can be all the way down at 2 or 3 for 20 minutes. Moderate to advanced can be 4 to 5, and then elite to professional 5.5, 6, 6.5, 7, even some of them, the world's best. One workout and 2 or 3 intervals per week. Alright, yeah. Yeah. No, that would be a good mixture, EMR. So 3 sessions of zone 1 a week, do you mean? And then 2 or 3 interval sessions per week. No, that's a good approach, and make sure you have a easier day before your interval rides as well. You don't want to be going into your high intensity sessions tired. The whole point of the high intensity sessions is to really stress your body. So make sure you're nice and fresh for those sessions, and then it doesn't matter if you're a bit fatigued for the lower intensity stuff, because it's easier to do. But you want to make sure you're nice and fresh for your interval sessions so that you can hit those high powers and elicit that stimulus at a high intensity. What about you, Cadell? What's your 20-minute? If you're happy to share it, of course. But yeah, there's also a graph online that you can look at. If you just search watt per kilo chart, there's one for men and women. And then there's sort of a rough guideline of where you might fit. It says you can look at your 5 second, your 1 minute, your 5 minute, and your 20 minute, and then it sort of goes across and it will say professional, world class, cat 1, cat 2, cat 3, that sort of thing. Oh, blimey, Cadell, that's really good. Yeah, no. When you're asking what is a good 20-minute watt per kilo, that's definitely good. 5.2, 5.3 outside, no, that's very good. Yeah, I'd be very happy with that. Have you been riding very long? I found this year, actually, interestingly, my inside and outside of close together quite a lot. Like, I can do just as good power inside and outside on the same power meter. Which is something I didn't find in the past, but it might be down to just riding so many hours on Zwift this year. Wow, very good, Cadell. Yeah, no, that's very good then. 5.2, 5.3. I do notice a lot of younger riders do have a high watt per kilo FTP, but probably you may have heard this online or may have had other people say it, but at your age I certainly wouldn't focus so much on watts per kilo, but potentially more watts, just because at 15 years old you really don't want to be worrying about weight or anything like that. You want to be giving yourself enough nutrition to train, enough nutrition to grow. You got to remember your body's still developing at that age. Oh, definitely AMR. It will come naturally if you're riding that many hours. It also depends on your diet as well. James, that's a quick question. I'm doing 2 hours today, so I'm nearly halfway. Just answering questions, having a chat, that sort of thing. But yeah, AMR. Obviously, it completely depends on your diet. Like, generally, it will come naturally riding that many hours. But obviously, if you eat absolutely loads and ride 15 hours a week, you're still going to put weight on. It's, at the end of the day, it's still calories in versus calories out, and generally the more calories you expend, the hungrier you will feel. But I would say doing more hours, it is easier to lose weight, but don't necessarily use that as a method of doing it, because a good diet and eating healthy is much more important than just bashing out as many hours as you can to burn calories and then potentially overtraining and fatiguing yourself maybe a little bit. Hi Cycle Nutter. How you doing this morning? But yeah, EMR recommendations for losing weight though. Eating low calorie dense foods, so things that for their volume have not many calories. So in the evenings, maybe double your veg portions. Things like broccoli don't have many calories in them at all, but you double your broccoli size, that's instantly a larger volume on your plate for not many calories at all. And then all that extra volume in your stomach will help you feel a bit fuller, and then you might be less inclined to say snack, have a bit of chocolate or something like that after dinner, and then therefore taking in less calories. So you might have had a few more in the broccoli, but making you feel a bit fuller there. You might not have other things which are more calorie dense. FTP, FTP is 344 approximately at the moment. Watt per kilo, that equates to 5.7, I think, 5.8. 20 minute is like 6.1, 6.1 in the summer, maybe more like 5.96 at the moment for 20 minutes. I'm 60 kilos at the moment, was about 59 in the summer as well, but I'll probably lose that over winter as well. I'm focusing on doing some more hours now, not so much on the high intensity. Do you actually? You're only like 15 or 16, aren't you? Or 14? I can't remember. I know you're a lot younger than me. How tall are you though, Cyclonaut? $14, 65 kilos. Cadell, you're 53. Okay. 183, 184. Alright, so you are taller than me. Like, I'm only 178. But, Cycle Nutter, like I was saying to Cadell Howie earlier, don't worry about your watts per kilo at your age, worry about your watts at your age. There's a lot of, unless you're like going to be racing cyclocross or extremely hilly races in the Alps, or well, I don't know where you're from, but in the UK, especially at your age, you're going to have a lot of other light kids around you. I say kids, sorry, I shouldn't say kids. A lot of light youth and juvenile or junior riders you're racing with, who are also going to be light, and if you can have more watts, that will do more good in your age than watts per kilo. And then also, as you get older, you'll sort of stop growing at such a rate where you can then focus more on your watts per kilo, because you know what sort of weight you're going to level out at. They are, yeah, Cadell, no hills. Well, you got some. You got Wollonga. You've got, not that they were that long. What's that other famous one that Durian rider fucking loves? Oh, Norton Summit, that's it. But yeah, they're not long. Now Wollonga, that's a bit further away, I think. They normally do that in Tour Down Under, or that's the one that Richie Port normally wins up, isn't it? But yeah, Cycle Nutter, that's a good thing. Like, it is, like, you'll see a lot of people your age like saying, oh, I've got 5.6, 5.8, 6 watt per kilo FTP, but that might be 250 watts. And realistically, yes, you'll be a lot smaller, but 250 watts isn't going to help you much in the UK if there's someone your age who might have a 5 watt per kilo FTP or 4.5 who has 350 watts. Obviously terrain dependent, and you might have found that on Zwift as well. Like, you might be putting out 5 watts per kilo and struggling to ride in the group, whereas other people might be doing 3 or 4, but they might have 40 or 50 kilos on you. Oh yeah, like, I'm not saying don't have a good watt per kilo FTP, but I think Alex Dowsett did a video on it as well, and like I said to Cadell, the last thing you want to be doing is worrying about your weight and potentially not growing to your full potential. Like, at the end of the day, yeah, train hard, but give your body the nutrition it needs, because you are still growing at the same time. Like, when I was your age, no, exactly, it's like matter. Like, when I was your age, I wasn't training hard at all. I was just riding my bike for fun. So you guys have got a big step up on me. I think when I was 14, 15, well, I didn't even have a power meter then. But when I got a power meter when I was 16, I think, 17, on my bike. And I think my FTP was like 250, 4.2, something like that. So you just hard work, consistency, and progressive training. You guys will get there. At the end of the day, it's not something that can be done overnight. So there's a lot of people. You've got to remember as well, there's a lot of people that are happy to train hard for a couple of years, but maybe don't see the gains quick enough, and then maybe not give up, but maybe don't have the drive to get all the way they potentially could. So, and sometimes that can be just mental overtraining as well. So I'd say also don't rush yourself at your age as well. Enjoy yourself at the same time, but obviously race and get yourself out there if that's really what you want to do and you want to get noticed. You've still got a few years to develop as well. When were power meters? SRM was probably the first one, I think back in mid 2000s maybe. The SRM has always sort of been known to be reliable. I mean, it depends what you call reliable. So I would say reliable is a power meter that reads consistent day in, day out, day in, day out. Like, will always read the same. Like, you might have two power meters that say one might read higher than the other and one might be less accurate, but say the one that reads high, if that reads the same all the time, but the one that's lower reads, say, a few watts different each day, but is closer to the true power, I would go with the one that reads higher. But even if it was lower, I'd go with the one that reads lower, as long as it's consistent day in, day out. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter if the power meter reads a little bit high or low, as long as it's consistent. That's what you want, because you want to be able to train to the same power all the time, basically. I'd say they've probably always been reliable, Who do I think will win the Zwift World Championships? Cool. Tie up. I think Tom Pidcock's got a good chance. Leon Overhaasen's got a good chance as well. Holden Camus or Cameo definitely got a good chance. Freddie Overt. The thing is, a lot of the pros, I don't know how good they are on Zwift, how well they know that finish. It's up the Zwift original com. But I watched Holden Camus race up it the other week, and he has a very strong finish. I put him as a good contender. And Leon Overhaasen as well, are the people that I know. It's difficult to comment on the pros, but Freddie Overt and Tom Pidcock, I think those two are both a good shout out of the pros. Were they really pricey to start with? The SRM was, yeah. And then Saris came out with a power tap. I believe it used to be a Saris. I believe Saris owned power tap. So that's what I've got. That's my original first power meter I had. My secondary power meter that I use on here is a power tap GS. It's a rear hub, so it's in the wheel, effectively where a trainer is, a direct mount trainer. But that power tap hub I bought back in 2016 for 300 quid, I think, 400 quid, and then you have to get it built into a wheel. But so no, like even back in 2014, 2015. Alright, see you later, Cadell. Cycle nut around 22. So no, they haven't always been pricey. They've definitely come down in price though. But my other power meter that I've got, my crank-based power meter, a rotor 2 in power, which reads left and right power independently. It's got 2 strain gauges in the left, 2 in the right. Well, 2 in the spindle, 2 in the right. It measures torque effectiveness, pedal smoothness, left-right balance. It can measure your power like 60 times a second, so you can get like that pedal stroke analysis like you get on the Watt bike. So it's a very advanced power meter, and that one costs like 1,200 quid. So there's still a lot of variance in power meters. One meeting down, Phil, good. Managing support as well, and develop tasks. Yeah, it ticked off an hour. Well, thank you very much for joining again, Phil. It sounds like you've got a very busy day, so I do appreciate you jumping in and having the chat as well. We're just talking all sorts: training, nutrition, power meters, yeah, all sorts. What video are you working on, Cycle Nutter? Asioma Unos, yeah. I've actually been looking at getting the Asiomas for, well, just to run on every bike, but more specifically for my TT bike, because I kind of want to be able to have the flexibility in the crankset and chainring, and because I'm on a Trek Speed concept as well, so I've got the annoying 24mm axle. So yeah, I kind of want a power meter like that is very flexible. And I looked at the Garmin, but like they're in their 3rd generation and they just seem to still have so many problems. Whereas a lot of people have got the Asiomas now, and yeah, I don't see a lot of bad reviews about them. So yeah, something that I'm looking at. Yeah, and that's another good thing. You can buy just an Uno and you get the hardware, and it's not like you have to buy a whole new power meter to get left right. So yeah, that is good. 3 monitors, nice. I've got 2 at the moment. I do have a third one, but my girlfriend's borrowing it. Well, I've got 2 monitors, and my second monitor at the moment is a trusty old TV. One of them keeps me sane. Good to hear. Always love a bit of cycle chat. Got a vlog coming out Saturday, nice. Oh, and a video for a company as well. Oh, nice. Can you divulge any of that information, or is it top secret? Sounds quite interesting, though. Oh, you've got a track speed concept. Is that what you were using for your triathlons then, I suppose? Check my down as well on the road. Ooh, nice. Got some nice kit there. Yeah, my road bike's a Cervelo S2, I think, or is it S3? No, S2. And then I don't know what year my speed concept is. I think it's 2017. I bought it second hand 2 years ago, just because that was all I could afford on a student budget at the time. Nice to have matching bikes, eh? Interesting then, Phil. What do you run a power meter on your speed concept then? Yeah. The Vector's like the Vector 2s like just seemed a bit inconsistent. Well, not inconsistent, but maybe a little bit unreliable. And then the Vector 3s, they said, well, we fixed all these issues, but then I've been hearing people still having problems with the Vector 3s. Notice how my heart rate jumps up when I sit upright. Just a different positioning. You think the Vectors are better these days, do you, Rasha? But you still went with the Asiomas. Alright, interesting. Ah, sworn secrecy. Will it be going on YouTube, or is it just for like that company purposes only? Clubmate's parents own a truck shop. Oh, right. Oh, that's very handy then, Phil. Yeah, very handy. I did really like the Trek Speed concept. Sorry, the Trek Madone. But I think I've gone off it a little bit recently. I don't know. It used to be, if I could get a road bike, that's what I would go for, like a couple of years ago. But the shape of it I used to love, and it seemed so aero, and it seemed like one of the most aero bikes you could get. And then I sort of fell in love with the Cannondale Super System 6, that aero bike. But then, I don't know, if I could choose any bike, I still don't know what I'd go for. Yeah, a lot of clothing. I'm riding in the garage this morning, cycle nutter, so it's only about 2 or 3 degrees in here. Just got the fan on the lowest setting, got a nice cap on. Hands are just about warm enough. So hence all the layers. Alright, cool. Well, hopefully they like it and they might hire you. Yeah, it's a chapeau cap. It's a nice one. Yeah, there are, Phil. Lots out these days. Like, never been a huge fan of Specialized, but Specialized, the new Venge, or the S-Works, that's their aero one I think, the S-Works Venge or the something like that. Just almost looks too clean and simple to be as fast as they claim it is, but then their Venge Bias, their old model, seems way over the top, and I think the new Venge, the one I'm riding in game now, I think that there's just something about it I do really like, but I don't know if it's my favourite. It's a really tough one. I also like the Trek Speed concept, Trek Madone, sorry, Cannondale System 6. I like the Super 6 as well. Svelo S5, that's a nice one. Ideally I'd like probably a System 6 and a Super 6, that would probably be the ones I'd go for. It'd be nice if Cannondale updated their TT bike though, their Slice. I think that'll probably be getting an upgrade soon. I like the Canyon as well. New Canyon, still quite simplistic, similar to the S-Works actually, in shape, not too over the top. Windbreaker gloves, the conservatory. Yeah, almost as much clothing as you'd wear outside. Yeah, just to start as well, like, that's the coldest bit, like walking into the garage when you first start and then jumping on. I'm based in the south, in Norfolk, so southeast. Yeah, Russia, I see what you mean. Like, replaceable batteries, like, I have mixed feelings on them. Like, being able to have, like, having the built-in sealed battery seems more reliable, but then of course it could die over time, and then with the Asiomas as well, you have like that proprietary cable, which isn't like a bad thing. I mean, but some people are put off by it. But Asiomas are so popular that I think you would probably be able to nab a cable like most places. The only thing is, like, if you're going to a race and it's not charged, then maybe a replaceable battery might be better, but I suppose the flip side, if you keep on top of your charging, and you might not have that battery with you anyway, so. But yeah, the Vector 3s are definitely a lot smaller and a lot cleaner, I guess. They don't have as much like body to them, do they? Yeah. Like my Rotor 2 in power is rechargeable, has its own cable, and then my Power Tap has just a button cell battery, or a CR2032 battery, and I prefer the. I mean, the battery on my Rotor 2 in power lasts about 300 hours, so it's very practical. Yeah, we are all over the country, aren't we? Well, I spent 3 years in Derby at uni, and then spent a year up in Newcastle as well for uni. So I've been a bit all over the place as well. Although I've moved back home now. Oh, you've been an even split then, Phil. $50 is it on the Asiomas? Yeah, I mean, I think the battery on a rechargeable battery would last as long as probably the life of the power meter, to be honest. Phil is a very clever man. He studied some very interesting topics, certainly much more advanced than I did. I did geology and then a master's in engineering geology. Didn't have a house to come back to. Blimey. PhD is a big word for a GCSE student. Four years masters in theoretical physics. Did you do an not an MRes because that's a research masters. Did you do your masters joint with your BSc? So like, because I know someone who did chemistry at Newcastle did that. Cycle Nutter, I did a BSc in geology, and then I did an MSc in engineering geology. It was joint with geotechnical engineering, but I chose the engineering geology MSc. Yeah. That's someone I know did that, an MSci. Yeah. So you've got one degree, haven't you? Well, and then your PhD as well. But you still did 4 years. Yeah, exactly, Phil. It is all in progression. Any plans on what you want to do, Cycle Nutter? Well, that's where geology starts. Languages. Alright, that's interesting. What are you? French and German? French and German. I'd love to learn French. I did French at GCSE, but and know enough to get by in the country, potentially, with a lot of English thrown in there. But you speak Dutch fluently, do you? Awesome. That's pretty cool. Kind of fluently. Study your backside up for years, convince yourself how important it is, and then a decade later you can't even spell procreation. Yeah, and in my case I haven't even put my degree or MSc to use yet. Yes, I have thought about that. I just need back over. Yeah, I have thought about doing that. Because I really think the racing out there would suit me more as well. It's more the financial aspect of it. Yeah, I would really like to do something like that, and something I have thought about many times, but I don't know, it's maybe actually going through the process, doing it, finding somewhere, and obviously having the money to do it at the same time. And yeah, that would be a brilliant way to learn the language. I mean, for my BSc I spent 8 weeks in France. Because I did a geology mapping. Yeah, I know Matt Ellis, yeah. For my degree I had to do some geological mapping, and that was my research thesis. I was doing the structural geology of the south of France, just a small area around Saint-Chinian, not far from Carcassonne, you know where that is, or Béziers. You have to make so many career choices early in your life, and at that point, you're right. You often don't know what you want to do, or you often don't know enough about all the things you can do as well. Yeah, like I just chose the thing I enjoyed the most, to be honest. Like, enjoyed geography, so I thought, I'll do geology at A level because I enjoyed that side of it more. And I thought, yeah, geology is one of my favourite subjects, so I'll do that at uni. And then ended up doing an MSc as well. And then, yeah, that's where I ended up now, with a degree and a master's, and then just riding my bike at the moment, working part-time. Alright, to be a pilot. Yeah, I did maths A levels as well. Maths, geology. Did physics, wasn't good enough at it. Got an A at physics GCSE, but A level. Yeah, it just wasn't as good at it at A level. To become a pilot, that's cool. Yeah, interesting. It got you massively excited by physics. What sort of job am I doing? Just working in a pub part-time. When I was younger, I think I got the job when I was 16, and I just worked like in between A levels, then in between uni, like during the summer, like Christmas and that sort of thing, and then finished uni, and I've just gone back there part-time for now. I'm really lucky, to be honest, to have a job like that I can just come back to. And luckily we're a pub that does pretty well as well, so we're not struggling too much in these strange times. Oh yeah, I'll go to Cycle Nutter first. No, it wasn't one that I went to. Just one that I started working at, basically. Started off as a KP, washing dishes. Funnily enough, my brother's the head chef there, so yeah, then did a bit in the kitchen, food prep. Brother taught me a lot of stuff. Then when I turned 18, got nabbed by the bar, and I worked on the bar ever since. Oh, landlady, nice. Yeah, it is good, honest work. Definitely long hours on your feet. And last year, not so much this year, a lot of rushing around on your feet as well. We were very busy. somewhat still a lot of rushing around on your feet, but a bit more of a controlled rush now with all the COVID guidelines. Yeah, it is very good for developing social skills. Get to speak to a lot of people, get to speak to a lot of different people as well. And a lot of people from different generations as well, which is interesting. Nice to get to know regulars, that sort of thing. Yeah, definitely right there. It's a versatile job as well. Obviously a lower skilled job, but develop a lot of transferable skills from it. Oh, cool. So from that. Yeah, getting a job as well from a young age teaches you some good skills as well. Like, I've worked for a fairly long time now there. Yeah, that's interesting, Phil. I mean, I don't mean to generalise, but like you say, not a lot of developers can articulate and maybe don't have some of the other skills that come along with sort of other jobs. Working in a pub from a young age, yeah. Like, there's a lot of skills you can't learn from like practical and application that you can't often learn from how do I put it, research or academic skills. Thanks for the ride on, Cyclenator. Five-second delay on the stream. Oh, that's pretty good, isn't it? Yeah, the FPS isn't too bad. I mean, I got a very good GPU in my computer. Well, I say very good. When I built my computer about 6 years ago, it was very good, but not by today's standards. I got a GTX 980, so about 5 years ago that was one down from almost top of the line, but my FPS probably slacks a bit from my processor. I've only got a second generation Intel i5, and I got the LGA 1155. I mean, I might be talking about stuff that some of you guys don't know. I would imagine Phil might know. So my motherboard's LGA 1155. Not 1151 or 1200 now, I think they're on. So I'm actually pretty much limited on what CPU I can run unless I buy a whole new motherboard. But to be honest, for a 6 or 7 year old computer, she's hanging on pretty well. I'm able to stream have multiple Chrome channels open, Chrome tabs, sorry, run Zwift, run Droid Cam as well, because I'm using my old phone as the webcam, and then run OBS and run the chroma key on OBS and all that sort of stuff. So the frame rate probably could be a bit better. It's probably in the 40s or 50s, I'm not sure. Yeah, exactly, Phil. I'm a few comments behind now, so I'm on where you talk about academic skills so early on is a bit flawed. Like, getting a job from an early age as well sort of teaches you how the working world works, and yeah, just seeing how a business runs and working etiquette as well goes such a long way. Work experience really is a good thing. Oh, you use your gaming laptop as your streaming rig, do you? It's got a 970 in it. And a 1080 in your main gaming / work rig. Nice. So, do you run Zwift on your laptop as well as stream on your laptop, or do you have a video card? Or do you stream from your laptop and play on your gaming rig, your desktop, and then, or do you do it all on one? Because you can get NDI output for OBS where you can have the game on one computer, stream from another, and then you don't need a video capture card. Yeah, Psychonaut, to be honest, I'm not very well clued up on language qualifications. Teacher, translator. I would imagine there's quite a lot of actually things that you might not think of. I know Rob Hatch, he studied languages and he's a cycling commentator. Journalism, editors, you could be like an editor for the BBC, you could be like a Dutch news correspondent, all sorts of things. So I really wouldn't worry too much about that. I think languages can take you a long way. They can also be helpful in a lot of careers in this country that may need you. I mean, like even working in, not so much in Parliament or as an MP, but working as advisors for other countries, that sort of thing. My FPS isn't good for Zwift, but really good for built-in webcam. Oh, you do it all on your Mac. Yeah, that's the one thing where Droid Cam falls a bit short. I can't run my camera in 60 FPS, but it's not too bad. The Droid Cam quality though is a lot better than the webcam I've got. So much better. I mean, it's my old phone, it's a Nexus 5X, so like it's a Google phone, not the Pixel, it was the one before the Pixels. So but I could use my new phone, but my new phone's limited by Droid Cam anyway. I mean, this phone's incredible. It's a OnePlus 7 Pro 5G, but I like to be able to go on my phone at the same time. You run Zwift and OBS on the laptop. That's all downstairs in the pain cave. Okay. Yeah. It looks like it handles pretty well. Phil, your streams are good enough quality. They're good. Does your Mac have a GPU cycle? Does it have a graphics card? Is it a iMac or a a laptop. It probably uses built-in onboard Intel graphics if it's a laptop. Yeah, he certainly does, doesn't he, King Destroyer? It's interesting that you're both in a similar career. So yeah, that's probably, I would imagine, cycling. So that's why you don't have as good frame rate. Potentially because you're using your CPU entirely to run Zwift. But yeah, I recently got fibre for the house. We got, fortunately, unfortunately we had rubbish internet for so long, and we've just got FTTP, fibre to the premises. So I could get gigabit internet if I wanted, but we've just got one of the standard fibres. Hi Rainbow. So I think I'm on about 50 megabits. Oh, we've had a dropout. An hour and a half, still getting them. Right, I need to maybe adjust something else in my system. King Destroyer, yeah, cycling. That's where we've all ended up, isn't it? It's funny that the heart rate doesn't drop out though, and look, the heart rate's still changing. Well, we're still pedaling. There we are. Well, we're just going to have to push through this one a little bit and hope that it picks back up. Oh yeah, it's moving around a bit, 218, 217, 213. Yeah, 2 hours today, cycle nutter. Not much longer left now. Just on an easier week this week, recovery week, so. Did an hour yesterday as well. And then got a rest day tomorrow. And then I'm starting to build it up a little bit more on the weekend. And then I think I've got a 18 hour week next week. So back into normal training next week. More dropouts. This is really annoying. I need to. I'm not sure what's causing this. I really can't figure it out. Alright Phil, catch you in a minute. Hopefully we'll be pedaling again by the time we're back. In game, that is. Right, this is being a real pain. Right, what I'm going to do, I'm not using my trainer, I'm using my power meter. I'm going to unpair the rotor and then repair it. See if that works. I'm running my power meter today. No, it's still dropping out. Maybe that was just a momentary blip. No, still not there. It's not the ANT Plus dongle because, well, it might be the dongle, or it's interference. smooth on the power. I'm just used to just riding at a steady power. My cadence has been pretty low today actually. Drop it into a smaller gear. But yeah, I'm used to just flatlining my power. If you're using that plus rate, you can try recording on a head unit or something. Yeah, that's a good point. See if I get my dropouts on the head unit as well, and then that would be able to tell me if it's interference with that dongle or if it's the power meter, wouldn't it? I have used to record to a head unit before, once, but I often dual record to a head unit from my power tap hub. But it looks like unpairing and repairing might have sorted it, but it could just be that it's sorted itself anyway. Probably killed my average power. Doesn't really matter though, does it? So 7, 140. It's a little bit of a higher heart rate. I have thought about getting a tax antenna. I'll see if they're in stock at the moment. They're supposed to be really good for helping dropouts. I might order one. Frame rate might drop a little bit now. Tax and plus antenna. Let's have a look. See if it's in stock anyway. There's some on eBay. Is it in stock in Wiggle? No. Not in stock on Wiggle. Is it in stock in Chain Reaction? Don't email me when in stock. I'll hit that button anyway. Put my email there. There we go. Yeah, I'll just show you what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. One of those. Don't know if you guys have seen that before. But they're supposed to be really good for I mean, I don't know if it's just a stronger AMP plus dongle, but a few of my teammates have got them, and they're supposed to be really good, so I'm going to be shopping around for one of those. Let's have a look somewhere else. Oh wait, you mean the transition, cycle nutter? Yeah, I do like it. I made it on oh, this item is no longer available, damn it. I made it on After Effects. Oh, let's try mantle. currently out of stock. Expected between the 21st and 27th of December. Got a stock notification in again. Have you got any transitions on your stream, Cycle Nutter, or not? It's cool because it's like a Team X branded one as well. So like when I go to game finish, like, so it's not just like a generic one that you can get off the internet, if you understand what I mean. Cheers, mate. If you want a hand making one or anything, just give me a shout. Or anything like that. I assume you run over. Do you use OBS or Streamlabs or OBS, something else? Or you can get them off the internet, they're just called stingers. Yeah, it's interesting because I have got a Bluetooth dongle. It's only an external USB one, but then it's interesting. I might experiment with it because I don't want to do it first time in a race, but I could try Bluetooth and see if I have any more luck with it. But I'm using these at the, it's just went again, but I'm using these at the same time, so I don't know whether that would affect it. To be honest, Cycle Nutter, I think it really depends what direction you want to take your channel in. Do you want it to be more of a personal thing, more I suppose with your vlogging that's kind of what it is, because I know Cameron Jeffers was originally Cycling Cam, yeah, I think it depends how personal you want to make it, I guess, because once you sort of set it as your name, it's a lot more personal, and yeah, and Bike for Lawrence, you're right. Sort of, I don't know if you kind of understand what I'm trying to say. Then everyone will know. I mean, it's not difficult to probably find your actual name, whether you want to keep it private or not, or whether you want it to be more your own personal channel and that's how you want people to call you. Yeah, like I just made this channel straight up just with my name, and just stuck with it. But yeah, if you feel happy and confident with it, go for it, Cycle Nutter. You could always make like a big deal out of it as well. You might get some views, like maybe channel name change, name reveal sort of thing, or something like that. But yeah, I think it would be a good idea. And then on Zwift as well, you can then be yourself, can't you? Yeah, it all depends on your confidence, really. Yeah, Rasher, you're right, sorry. Oh, yes. The bouchon is done. Oh, so close to 45. It's probably another at least 150k probably, actually. But yeah, so many variables. And the problem is, sometimes you can experiment as well, and you might not get any dropouts, and you think, oh, this is fixed, and then 5 rides later you might get a dropout again. We definitely need to peak up, that looks a bit silly. Or alright, awesome cycle nutter. Are you doing the lessons from home? Are you like self-isolating or something? Peak up, yeah, peak definitely up. But yeah, Rasher, like you could do some changes and it might work all fine. Like it worked fine for an hour and 35 minutes, so like I could have stopped an hour and 30 in and thought, oh yes, dropout's fixed. But yeah, it's worth experimenting with, definitely. Yeah, exactly, Rasher. Like in that race, when it happened midway and I had to do that big attack to get on. I think you watched that one. Had to do that big effort to get back on, and then annoyingly I got the dropouts again on the final climb, didn't I? Kind of self-isolating. Slept through your alarm. Oh, right, okay. Yeah, I go to bed quite early. Usually around 9 o'clock, 9:30. I was a little bit later recently. But I can give you a cool little insight actually into my sleep last night, just because of my little Whoop device. Let's have a quick look. Oh, Phil, are you there? I know you went for a brew, but are you there, Phil? I got something to ask you actually. Some of you guys might find this interesting. So there we are. Yeah, I'm not the type to go. No, I don't go to bed at 2 AM. So if we look, I didn't get much deep sleep last night. Yeah, Whoop day to Rasher. So I spent 9 hours 17 in bed last night, and I got 8 hours 21 of sleep. So I had an efficiency of 90%, which was pretty good. You just love that transition, don't you, cycle nutter? So yeah, you can see that I was awake for 56 minutes. I normally get a bit more deep sleep than that actually. I can't actually see what time I went to bed. It says I fell asleep at about 10, sorry. But yeah, recovery was good today. So I had a resting heart rate of 38 this morning, HRV of 129. So yeah, that was a good recovery. Yeah, it does. Yeah, it's incredible. And we can already see my day strain today. So if we go to today's overview, that's where I've been on my bike. That's my heart rate for the last few hours. So you can see, yeah, look, I jumped on just before 9. and that's 10:36 there. 10:35. It's a little bit behind. It usually updates to the internet every sort of 10 minutes, I think. But yeah, I wanted to talk to Phil, because if you look, my Whoop, I fully charged it yesterday, and I've been speaking to the help support, but it died. Apparently they can see that it hit a software bug during the night, so they're monitoring my strap. But I know Phil's got a Whoop, so I was going to ask him if he's encountered anything similar. But yeah, my heart rate's quite low during the night. You can see it down 30s. So yeah, but had an easier day yesterday, so commuted to work and back, and then that was me at work. But it's interesting to see how much lower your heart rate is whilst you're asleep than just during the day, and that really indicates how important sleep is for recovery. Like, that was a relaxed evening, but then that's the sleep. Really is interesting how important sleep is. But yeah, there's a little insight, and just for you, Cycle Nutter, we'll play the transition again. Doesn't look like Phil's still there. He's gone for a big brew. Alright, see you later, Cycle Nutter. Thanks for joining. Good to have your company. Thanks for all the questions as well. Kept me on my toes. Enjoy your lesson. Geography. Awesome. How am I wearing a jacket inside? I'm in the garage, George. It's about 3 degrees in here. It's only a thin jersey. It's not. You can probably see through it, to be honest. It's only just a thin jersey, and then just another thin jersey as well. I've only got the fan on low as well. Hence the hat as well. Hands are just about warm enough though. I've got a towel on my bars, which is helping a bit. Double geography. Oh, thanks, Cycle Nutter. I'm glad you've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed it as well. Nice to have different people jumping in here and there as well, chatting. Yeah, it's been a chilly one this morning, George. Only got 4 minutes left as well. Double geography. It's meant to snow tomorrow. It is, yeah. I think there was some snow in some places in the UK today. But yeah, I don't think it will snow where I am. I'm down in the south. But it is supposed to be raining pretty heavy today, so hence why I'm on the trainer. I think it will be a weekend of Zwifting for a lot of people. I don't know what the weekend looks like, but I know today and tomorrow is supposed to be a bit colder. But just a couple more minutes now. It's been an awesome stream. Thank you very much for everyone who came along. I didn't know whether to stream just an easy ride like this. I didn't know how exciting it would be, so I thought I'd try it today. But very kind words there from Cycle Nutter, saying the most fun he's had. He just loved it because of the transitions though. I think that's why he loved it. Aha! It definitely does, Phil. I've got a question for you, Phil. Whoop are monitoring my strap because I'm going to turn my music off so I can talk easier. Oh, I've got someone I know on screen. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. Let's see who this is. Nicholas Roach. Yeah. Whoop are monitoring my strap because it killed itself the other night. I don't know if you can see that. So after that ride, before that ride, I was charging it and I took it off for the race, and so I went to bed on at least 90-95% charge, and I got a notification at like 1 in the morning saying 20% battery, and obviously I was asleep so it didn't do anything. And then 10 minutes later, I didn't even get the 10%, or is it 5 or 10 they say? I didn't even get that one. It just died. And then so it missed all my sleep, so I didn't get a recovery score or anything like that. And it says incomplete, I think, if I click on it. Yeah, incomplete. It recorded some of the cycles. I didn't know if you had anything like that, Phil, have you? But yeah, today's recovery was really good. 38, 129, 8 hours 21. Worked fine tonight. But yeah, they were telling me the cool thing is they can monitor the strap remotely, so they can see what happened. And apparently it did run into like a software bug during the night and basically just killed itself. They said they're going to continue to monitor the strap and see what happens, but I had to do a reboot on it. It seems to be working alright now, but they want me to drain it down to 0% and then fully charge it back up again. But they said they're going to continue to monitor it. But yeah, I've never seen that before. But they could see remotely that it was on like 90% before I went to sleep, and then it just plummeted for some reason. But yeah, I thought I'd ask you if you had seen anything like that. We'll have a look at the TSS of the ride. See, 207 average, 440. Yeah, hopefully, Phil. The customer care was really good. They were really responsive with the emails, and they were really good about it. And they were saying they were going to keep an eye on it for me and see if they see anything else out of the ordinary. But yeah, it was a bit strange. Annoying that I missed. I think I've lost my data streak now as well. I don't know if you have to take it off a whole day to lose your data streak, but I've lost a recovery day, and it's not the end of the world, is it? But yeah, looks fairly good. We had a little few episodes of dropouts again. I think you missed those, Phil. We went for your brew. But yeah, I was just saying, God, that's very flat, isn't it? I was just saying thank you very much for joining. It's been a very good stream. Lots of people joined in and watched, so yeah, really happy. I didn't know whether a ride like this would be a little bit less exciting because it's not a race, but had some nice chats as well, so that was good. Cycle Nutter said it was one of the most fun he's had, so that was good. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. Hope everyone enjoys the rest of their day. Thanks, George. Yeah, see you guys later. Thank you very much.